Luffy's base form isn't technically dubbed a gear, but it can be considered the first of his devil fruit techniques he mastered. With close to 100 attacks that simply involve Luffy stretching his rubber limbs for offense, including such iconic variations as Gum Gum Pistol and Gum Gum Bazooka, the base form is far from weak. This power makes his sweat evaporate, giving the impression of steam coming off his body. Gear 2 makes him incredibly fast and powerful. However, in terms of physical strength, it's certainly not the most impressive. Among all of Luffy's gears, Gear 2 is the most basic, being roughly similar to a Demon Slayer mark in Demon Slayer, though it was still enough to beat the likes of Bluno.
Segundo.
Gear 3 is another technique that drastically boosts Luffy's power. To use this gear, Luffy bites his thumb and pumps air into his bones, making them huge and thus turning his limbs into those of actual giants. Expectedly, all the attacks that Luffy has in his Gear 3 arsenal hit much harder than any average attack. However, instead, he ends up sacrificing his speed. Luffy used this form of Gear 4 during his fight against one of the 3 sweet commanders of the Big Mom pirates, Charlotte Cracker. As expected, this form packed a much greater defensive capability. It was strong enough to tank a direct attack from Charlotte and one-shot him with his counterattack, called Gomu Gomu no Cannonball. Gear 4. Snake Man is one of the most impressive forms of Luffy he used during his fight against Katakuri. This form focuses more on speed and is designed to counter people with incredible observation haki. All of Luffy's attacks in Snake Man are ranged and hit the target in an unpredictable fashion. The weak point of this form is that it sacrifices the extra defense that Gear 4 offers for additional speed. The strongest form of Luffy's Gear 4 is Bounceman. This technique debuted during Luffy's fight with Doflamingo and since then has become his go-to Gear 4 form. Although not as tanky as Tankman or as fast as Snake Man, it finds the right balance between the two. Bounceman uses elasticity that comes from the heavy contraction of rubber due to hockey and thus launches attacks carrying great power behind them. The most impressive of all gears, this form gives Luffy almost unlimited powers bound only by his imagination. Gear 5 lets Luffy use all gears and haki types freely while altering his shape and the surrounding reality to his will. So far, the only thing limiting Luffy's usage of Gear 5 is his inexperience.
楽しくなってきた。これが